Alrighty then, everybody, welcome back. Season 4 is here. We're back with the Anime4ALL podcast, and we're like with Jock over here, Spare Magic Helmet, my co-host, and we're starting with My Hero Academia, the anime that started it all, literally. And before we get started here, I'd like to point out that we also have a new logo. Part of the break was to get that taken care of, and a couple changes to the viewing experience. I think over the course of this season 4, I'll be trying some new things if I can remember to. One of those new things actually is a tiny window to your left, your lower left, showing Crunchyroll. I am gonna see what I can get by with, without getting us flagged. So, this is a work in progress. See what else new we could like provide, during our run of season 4. Season 4 is the start of new beginnings. Were you saying something, Jock?
I just said hey when you introduced me.
Just kind of curious about something. Can we hear you? Speak again real quick.
Hey.
Okay, so Discord's being picked up. That's what I want to make sure.
Yeah, we've had a lot of sound problems today.
Well, I've had this issue before. Apparently, one of my I was doing another stream. I apparently was told the Discord wasn't being picked up there. I don't know what OBS is doing, and it needs to stop. But okay, I guess with all that out of the way, we can start with My Hero Academia. The anime just started this podcast from the very beginning. I also want to point out too, the last episode, I'm actually kind of surprised at the numbers. It hit 500 plus.
Our last podcast?
Yeah, the last episode we released.
That's cool.
I was actually kind of shocked. I wonder if it's gone up any further. We're gonna just have a look real quick. Yep, Anime4ALL podcast season 3, the Rory Kenshin episode, the last one we reviewed. That one is at 609.
Mm-hmm.
That is me checking today, and it's got 3 likes and a dislike.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know who the dislike is. We don't want you around here.
The dislike's probably Stefan.
I was gonna say, like, why would he never cared before?
Giving you a hard time. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, like, I mean, if it's him, I don't know why he never cared before. Why the sudden desire to end my podcast?
It's vengeance for what he thinks I did to him. One dislike at a time.
Jeez. I don't got anything to say towards that. They were just gonna move on. I guess the best course of action for him and me. But moving on. Let me actually add something really quick. I did not add in review. So let's do that really quick. All right. Yeah, as I said before, we're here to review My Hero Academia season 7. Episode 1. I'm titling this episode Stars and Stripes. I'm pretty sure that's what... Well, it's In the Nick of Time, a big time maverick from the West is what the title's called.
Yeah, like it goes on for like half an hour.
Listen, this is our superhero, the one that came from America. Literally no shade in her costume whatsoever, as you can clearly see on screen.
What's she gonna do with them? What's she gonna do with them? They're gigantic.
What are you talking about?
Star and Stripes costume.
I don't think that's what you're talking about, because you said they're gigantic. I'm like...
Yeah, her boobs. You called her shameless, and I'm assuming that's what you mean.
No, I was more referring just to her costume and the stars and stripes that are literally plastered all over her costume. I mean, not the melons that are underneath.
They're like, each one of them could be like a whole extra superhero hiding in her costume.
You know, a part of me thought this is where this is going, but I was hoping we weren't. Just for the sake of ratings, but whatever.
Hey, we got 500 views last time. We can afford a little sass.
I would ask, really? Are you sure? But yeah, before we move on with the review, I just want to say this episode was really good. Really good. I actually enjoyed the comeback. I honestly didn't know what to expect because I think it's been a year since they released they released any episode. I think I don't think there was an episode last year at all. Like I think we ended in 2023. Did we? Wait, was it like a full year of no episode? Let me check that out really quick. 2016 when this show started. My God. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, so 2023 was when it ended. So that means last episode was... Oh! Last episode was March 25th, 2023. So it wasn't really all that long. Huh. That's weird. It felt longer than that, didn't it?
Yeah.
That is weird. Because I feel like we didn't have an episode at all last year of it, but I guess maybe that's me misremembering the beginning of the year. That is weird. Like, I always thought that... Okay, I guess no, you know, you dwelling on the past. Okay then. Yeah, episode 1, pretty much, this is a really good episode. As we get into it, couple of reveals. The American hero, as I already mentioned before, makes her debut. We saw her, I think, sometime in the episode that last aired for the show last year, I think. And also, we saw her, I'm not sure if you remember this, but that scene that we saw where she was remembering, you know, how she was saved by All Might, that was in a movie. I'm not sure which movie it was, but that scene was in a movie. He saved her in a movie when he was in America.
I don't remember that. Why don't I remember that?
Because it probably was like such a like. I mean, it was just a scene for All Might. I don't think it was meant to mean anything, but it clearly meant something. Because I remember seeing that scene when he still had his eyes. I want to say that might have been the first movie. I would really need to look at my movies for my hero, but I can't find any of them actually. I'm almost certain that was a scene from a movie. But yeah, that was interesting how Stormstrike got saved by her, but I guess we'll start off the very beginning of the podcast like we normally do, the episode review. Pretty much we open up on the school campus and Deku is doing laundry. And he asks himself, I guess, how long has it been since I've done laundry? And I'm like, as I was watching this at the beginning, I had the really weird thought of like, wait, why are we here? Where are we? Like, what is like? I feel like I don't remember anything, and then they dropped all the information you need to know in the first few seconds of the episode. Like, oh, that's right, Uraraka like helped him out and got him to be got him back into the UA. I guess I don't remember that scene because like I don't remember much because like that scene was such an impactful moment. I don't remember them letting him into school. I think the last thing I ever saw was him crying in the episode, and that was the end of the season. I think also it was abrupt too, so it was kind of one of those shockers that I guess it was so shocking that I completely removed it from my memory banks. But yeah, we have there Deku also debating whether he's going to kill Shigaraki or not, because he's remembering Gran Torino. I also forgot was apparently in the hospital, nearly killed, saying that sometimes kindness is killing the person, which is kind of like, and well, we see that Deku is contemplating whether that's a good idea or not. But I guess again, another thing I guess this episode does a good job is just reasserting that Deku is a good guy. In the truest sense, he's a good guy. Then Deku comes out of his room and he sees all his friends sitting, chatting apparently amongst themselves. He looks to the right and then Bakugo, Todoroki, I think Tape Man is there too.
Okay.
I mean, you want to correct me?
No, I don't disagree.
So, some of the friends that weren't, standing around talking, all like greet Deku, and he just smiles, and then we cut away to, I guess, the real action of this episode, which is Stars and Stripes herself, a very very muscular woman, apparently from the United States. I'm not sure where in the United States. I guess I would hazard a guess. New York. I don't
She has
know.
some great.
What?
She has some great pecs. Huge pecs.
Yes, very round pecs.
I want to nestle in her pecs.
I think that's nestle in her bosom. I think you're using the wrong term there.
Oh, is that right?
But basically, from there we're seeing the apparently we're just now seeing the effects of the villains, attack on Japan around the world. Apparently, according to All For One, as I jump around here, All For One has. I guess I shouldn't be shocked at this information. I guess it makes sense, but he has villain benefactors everywhere in the world, in every country apparently.
Did you notice that Antarctica and the North Pole were also part of that network?
Wasn't Antarctica habitable? Just really harsh?
I mean, if you have quirks, I guess it's habitable no matter what, right?
I guess you're right about that. I guess they can become. There are penguin people. That's fun to say. Penguin people.
Penguin people. Yeah, it's not too bad. No, I mean, with how ridiculous this show gets sometimes, I thought it was interesting. As a matter of fact, I was a little disappointed they didn't show dots in the water, because you'd think that there could be like an aquatic city somewhere in this kind of world.
Well, being that it's based on America, if like we had a different trajectory, I mean, this is probably as realistic as you could get. I mean, city of underwater. I mean, you're pretty much calling attention to Atlantis, but yeah, I'm actually not surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised there isn't any living sea people. But
I know that Atlantis is the obvious like reference to there. You know what I mean? An underwater city or something like that. But I'm saying that like they could build people with water quirks, like appropriate water quirks, could easily build like their own city under the water.
I'm actually kind of curious. Like, do we know how rare aquatic quirks are?
Well, we know that they've got Orca, and he's got his sidekick, and we have Froppy, and that's without looking for them.
But can Froppy like live underwater? Because I don't think frogs can, right? Like they need air.
They need air, but like an underwater city could have pockets of air. Like it doesn't have to strictly adhere to that.
I guess. I don't know. My brain's struggling to define like if that'd be physically possible, but I guess like honestly, why wouldn't it be? Yeah. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe they don't live in underwater. Maybe that's just one of those situations. Maybe this world hasn't evolved to the point where sophisticated underwater structures is a thing.
Or things get ripped apart often enough that they didn't think it was a good idea.
I guess I also want to know. I want to point out something even more interesting that I find interesting. When All For One's giving his speech about like villains and how he's got his overall network all over the world, everywhere apparently, of villains that just are at his beck and call. He's talking about Stars and Stripes. I find it interesting that he called America the birthplace of heroes. I know what that's a reference to, but it's interesting that in this world, like where most of our time is literally spent in Japan, that like All For One calls the America the birthplace of heroes. I thought it was interesting that in this particular case, that's what he says, and I find it interesting purely for the fact that I remember saying, I don't know how many episodes ago this was for the podcast, but I remember saying that like this show, in terms of like fan fiction, is ripe for it, because like it's just like there's so much going on that you could easily place a made up person in it and really just run with it. I think All For One just kind of really just like seeded that information for me. Is like it is definitely right for this kind of thing, because like they don't have to really develop America in this world other than just showing that, you know, we have heroes here, and we have apparently our number one, who's now over there in Japan right now, fighting for them at the request of All Might, who I forgot to mention that All Might requested her. That must be really big for her, considering that I'm pretty sure like maybe like All Might wouldn't have like, well, who's to say that they're paying attention to heroes outside of their own network of heroes in Japan. But again, I know what that is a reference to. I just kind of find it interesting that like he says that America is the birthplace of heroes. I'm guessing it's probably more of like maybe the job or the idea of being a hero was born there. But like, 'cause I don't know if they ever mentioned there's schools outside of UA that like in Japan, I should say, that, you know, bring young people in to help them, you know, become a hero. I don't think it's ever stated.
Bring him in to become a hero?
Yeah, like schools that are just like made for young, you know, people who want to become heroes to learn how to control their powers and be a hero. So far, I don't think it's ever mentioned that there's schools like that exist in Japan. I don't think it's mentioned that these schools exist outside of like Japan. I mean, I think in theory it makes sense that they would, but I don't think it's ever stated.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I want to also bring it too. Is like it seems like heroes in America, which I mean is like I honestly believe this. It seems like based on, you know, where Stars and Stripes is, she's mostly like a military missile. Is basically what I can tell. Like she's a militarized person. Considering that we see the barracks of America listening to what's going on in Japan, and she shows up, and you know, asks help from her boys. I think is what she calls them. It continues that whole thing throughout the entire episode, calling them boys and winking at them at one point.
Whoa, she's got a harem.
You know, I never thought about that. Good lord.
Would you say no?
Well, I mean, would I say no or could I say no? I think that's the task.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I have a limit to muscle mass, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It depends. I wouldn't say it depends on how desperate I am. It just mostly depends. Like, it just depends. I'm not trying to be insulting because I'm pretty sure there are fans out there who find her attractive. I'm not trying to besmirch her.
But you like blondes.
I like redheads.
You
And
like
actually,
blondes, you like
she's
skin,
naturally a
you
brunette. Actually, too, if I remember correctly, she dyed her hair.
Who? America?
I'm gonna call her Stars and Stripes because that's what her name
Star and-
is.
Star and Stripe. I'm gonna call her Star because they call her Star for short in the series.
Yeah, I feel like because like she had glasses when she was a little girl, and I think her hair was brown. Like it's not uncommon for somebody to dye their hair blonde, or for their hair to turn blonde if they are born a brunette, which I still don't completely understand that phenomenon, but it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
how do you know that her hair is brown?
the scene
how
where
do you
she
know
is saved by
it's
All
brown?
Might when she's a little girl in the backseat of her parents' car.
Oh, right. You're right. So she probably dyed her hair to like better emulate All Might.
Either that or her hair just turned blonde. One of the two.
Usually, blonde hair turns brown over time. Yeah, not the other way around.
But it can happen.
Actually, I'm saying usually to be nice, but
Yeah,
like,
I know. I mean, I know it's rare, but I'm saying apparently it can happen. Just like how your hair could turn white apparently over something. I mean, it's all genetic conditions, but you know, it is what it is. She's a blonde now, regardless, and she also apparently says, I'm skipping all over this episode, but like during her fight with Shigaraki, well, actually, we'll back up a little bit. So you were talking about Stars and Stripes. we see America, which I mistook when we were looking at the I should have known based on the fact that when they showed when they're showing people looking at the TV at first, I thought we were still in Japan, but apparently no, we're not. We're in we were in the U.S. of A. And at one of the in one of the military bases. I should have known better because I saw the stealth bombers. I was like, huh, why are there stealth bombers here? Was my first thought. It's like, what's with the stealth bombers? I should have known we were in America based on just the fact that we had stealth bombers on screen. But yeah, we saw the stealth bombers going into the air and some landing apparently. It's like this is a base, a military base of some sort, and you know, some of the military personnel were watching what's going on in Japan. And apparently, the news broadcaster kind of got jumped by a couple of villains, I guess. One of the people said like, "Why are you having fun watching our pain or whatever?" And then they cut the broadcast off. And then Stars and Stripes herself shows up, or Star shows up, pretty much asking like, "How about you let me go over there?" Because apparently they're not willingly. The United States White House isn't willing to let heroes go over to Japan. Also find it interesting that you actually use the word White House. I thought they would have maybe used the government or whatever, but I'm just, like there's some word choices that are surprising me that they're actually using in the show. Yeah, apparently the White House isn't willing to let heroes go over there. Stars and Stripes asks to go. We find out later on as they're on the way over there that All Might specifically requested her. We also find out that Endeavor, I think it's Endeavor, Hawks, Best Genius, or I guess are all going to the pier to go meet her, to I guess help her acclimate her to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they apparently Endeavor gets alerted that apparently Tomura has shown his pasty white hair self in front of the incoming party. And Stars and Stripes sees him and mistakes him. Sorry, dang, I pulled a Jocelyn last episode.
Sorry.
That was the problem. Mistakes Shigaraki for all for one, and she gets corrected by one of the men driving the stealth bombers that know that's Tomura Shigaraki, and then the fight ensues. But the night before, we get a look at apparently All for One in a cave that I thought was kind of creepy as he was talking and monologuing. I would say I found really creepy that as we were doing the pan up shot, All for One, no moves were just popping up to the side. I thought that was really creepy, and maybe that was the whole point of that scene, was showing that All for One isn't afraid. He's got a plan, as he always does, because that's who he is. He's the coup de grace villain.
Coup de grace.
Coup de grace villain. Pretty much like as Spinner, who I completely forgot about until this episode, is sitting there like looking like, to me he looks like he's done, but I mean we found out apparently he was willing to protect All for One. Apparently the only one of the villains of the group willing to stay behind and protect him for whatever reason. I don't remember what was going on and why he decided to do that. But like I said before, All for One goes into the spiel about how he's got this plan. He's only really afraid of Stars and Stripes at this very moment because of her quirk. We learn later on. And like he's afraid of, like, she's the only one that has a possibility to stop him, which he makes very clear. But he wants her quirk, so he's like willing to let Tomura, I guess, confront her. And recklessly, I guess I would say, recklessly confront her. But as he goes on, Spinner's asking like, why are you so sure? I think he like even All for One even mentions like, there's like he mentions two words apparently. I think it's like I bet it was he was talking about his plan. Like there's a surefire way for him to win, and there's also a surefire way for him to lose. And then Spinner asking like, why, like what's with the surefire way to lose? And he brings up Stars and Stripes as the reason why. He also brings up like he's also trying to restrain. Again, showing that All for One is thinking like 12 chess pieces ahead. Apparently, at this point, he's really annoying in that. But it shows that he's got a network of villains all over the world. At the drop of the hat, apparently, will cause problems for their country's heroes to make sure that given the country is a hard choice of will they help Japan or will they keep their heroes in their country? Um, Again, showing this world is so much bigger than we currently are like being led to see. And on top of that, All for One being the asshole that he is. It's like, I got heroes in Guatemala. I mean, I got villains in Guatemala. I got villains in Chile. I just snap my fingers and they cause all kinds of havoc for them. I was like, why you gotta be like this? Like, why? Why? Or that one hero in Brazil. Yeah, I know you're talking. Sorry, we gotta make a Brazil remark once every episode. It's part of our new contract.
Hero in Brazil is not a villain.
I say hero in Brazil. I'm just saying, like, we gotta make one remark about that because like it's a part of our quota. It really messed up with that one person was the one downvote.
That guy's a hero to me. He'll always be my hero.
Yeah. Got him. He said the thing. Yeah, All for One showing that, you know, he's always thinking several steps ahead. Got villains everywhere that will pretty much do what he wants. I wonder if they're like villains in every country that are like on his, like, not as like strategically dangerous as All for One is, but like if there's like a villain like him in every country, like the head villain, I guess, of every country. Because like trying to direct all that many people would be kind of like, even for him, be kind of difficult, I would think anyway. But yeah, he says that, and Spinner is still questioning what's really going on. And then All for One pretty much tells him that he doesn't need to come, he doesn't need to stay here and protect him. Like, he needs to go out there and protect Shigaraki. And then brings up the fact that apparently something I wasn't aware of that happened. Spinner is now not a martyr, but he's apparently a hero to some of these well, heteromorphs is what they call people who are like, when their crux manifested, they look completely different. And some of the heteromorphs we've seen, like there's a group of them that are looking at like Spinner's like photo on a poster on, like, in the streets. Some of them look like they have mostly like insectoid quirks apparently, because like they look very different. Some of them look like ants. There's probably like a centipede amongst them all somewhere in there. It was very interesting to see. I was like, oh, this is interesting that they're finally bringing up the heteromorph racism thing that's been happening.
You see racism?
Yeah, it's basically what's happening. People not liking the heteromorph people. They think they're monsters or whatever. Because it's basically racism.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, from
so, do you think Spinner is? What do you think Spinner's like a goal is going to be from here? Do you think he's going to?
Well, I mean, he still views Tomura as his savior.
He's keeping his mouth shut, though. He's not exactly cheering and smiling or anything like that. He's listening to everything, but he's not exactly enthusiastic about it.
Well, what happened to him in the last season? I completely forgot.
Not a lot happened to him. He was more like the witness in the last season too.
Well, I mean, like, based on what the way All for One was kind of talking about his view and how Stringer was the strings tying everything together, kind of almost makes him the heart of everything that's going on. Considering that apparently, I don't know, like, based on what I was looking at, it almost seems like what they're doing is they're trying to get as many people on their side as humanly possible. And All for One knows that, like, heteromorphs, I think is what they're called, hectoromorphs, whatever, like the people who have animal-like characteristics all over their body. They're the ones that apparently have suffered the most in this new world, apparently. You know, people not liking them and being afraid of them. Like that long neck, like that really tall girl. I don't know what she looked like. The one that Deku saved. I forgot her name.
Legs. Legs.
Legs.
Because she's tall.
No, because she looks like, I would say she kind of looks like a dinosaur to me, but I don't.
Mount Lady.
No, Mount Lady. It was like when Deku was like, when he was being being a vigilante. He was being a vigilante when he saved her when she was getting bullied.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll get that name for you. Do you mean the dragon lady?
That was the dragon?
Yeah. Ryu Tatsuma, also known as the dragon hero, Ryuku.
No, not her. There's one that looks like she looks like an actual like animal kind of like she's always looking like an animal. She doesn't just transform into one. She was a civilian.
I don't remember then.
It was during like when Arak was trying to defend him to the people, and she kind of came in crying. I forgot the name. Well, they referred to her as normal lady. Just one of the innocent bystanders that came to Deku's rescue when they were trying to kick him out of UA. Like, it was during the scene when Deku had like his vigilante streak. He gave her an umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing a good job. I mean, it's like I don't know how to explain. She's got like she looks like kind of like an animal, kind of obviously. I don't know what she looks like.
Just Google it.
I've seen it, but I'm looking at her right now. But I don't know what this is. I don't know what she's supposed to be. Maybe like a dog or something. I don't know. She's really tall. Like she really dwarfs Deku, kind of. Let me just so I can I'll copy. Wait, what? Where's the? Oh, here it is. I posted in Discord.
Yeah, I'm calling you out. Oh yeah, I remember her now.
Yeah, but she's like, I think we call it hectomorph. You know, the people that are having a hard time with people that
Yeah.
look human but they don't.
I remember I was kind of into her too. Like I thought that was a good character.
Yeah, they
Even
call
though
her
she
normal lady. Apparently, is what they're calling her. You know, I think it's kind of ironic because she looks anything but normal in this world, kind of.
Yeah.
But back to the episode, like he's talking to Spinner. He often just makes known a lot of his goals. He wants to steal Star and Stripes' quirk. All that's happening. Apparently, one guy called the Great Skeptic is pretty much like telling everybody, I guess, like somehow telling people in the world like to I guess pick a side and
Isn't the Great Skeptic? Because then they cut to someone that looks like it. Isn't he that hacker guy?
yeah, the guy that apparently can cause I think his quirk was supposed to, he can make electronics like that like come to life.
Yeah, something like that.
But basically, like this is his entire plan. Like Alphonse got a entire like ideal strategy that he wants to put it into motion. And a part of that is making sure that no other heroes can come out with other countries to save them. Because apparently, he makes known that All Might eradicated most of, if not all, of the organized crime in Japan, which is like good, great, like good lord, like that man worked a lot before he retired. Thinking I guess Japan isn't all that big compared to other places in the world, but after all that, we see everything that's happening in the world with the aftermath of everybody. Everybody's like choosing sides, figuring what they need to do. and then we come back to the main event of the episode, which is Star versus Shigaraki. Uh, I gotta say, New Order as a quirk is actually kind of a cool concept. Um, sorry, there was a scream in the music that I wasn't expecting, and then now it's just playing music. Okay, uh, New Order's interesting quirk. Really like the concept of it. I also the fact that it seems like, I guess depending who you are with that ability, if you know what you're doing with it and know the extreme limitations you have, you can really make that quirk really overpowered. And she kind of showed that with the fact that basically she touches anything, gives it rules to follow, and those rules can, I guess, like be either detrimental or really helpful to her, such as like causing her fight with Shigaraki. She pretty much takes away the air around Shigaraki in his star shape, which that was kind of cool to
It's a
suffocate
very
him.
checkmate move.
What?
It's a very checkmate move.
Oh yeah. If only it wasn't Shigaraki that's using that on. But he pretty much uses that and causes him to suffocate. Doesn't do much because Shigaraki does a giant laser move like his master does, and she grabs the laser actually with those rolls and then shoots it back at him to no effect, which I thought was kind of interesting. I also want to point out too, like Shigaraki's also wearing a suit this episode. That's kind of weird. I want to point out, like, I guess you could say
Yeah,
he looks kind of dapper. But
why do you think they had him doing that?
I mean, I think basically maybe it's to symbolize that he's becoming All for One.
Oh, that's a good point, because it's like, because the whole point of this episode is that he's halfway to becoming All for One right now. So the suit is not Shigaraki wearing it; it's All for One wearing it.
Well, considering All for One's in Shigaraki's brain and it's still there trying to take over.
Right. That's a good point. Thank you.
But after that doesn't work, they get into Shigaraki is trying to figure out how the quirk works, and apparently figures it out really quickly. That like there's limitations. Apparently, there's almost so much power she can input into a living thing versus a non-living thing, and that kind of gives like the dichotomy of her abilities, the spectrum of the powers that she can wield. And he's trying to figure out, I guess, what the ultimate limit is, or what the what the limits rules are. And apparently, it gets in a really weird way as he's becoming All for One. Kind of, he has this whole like thought process that kind of All for One I would think has when he's fighting, is like, what is his ability? Is it useful to me? What are the limitations before I take it? Shigaraki kind of goes on the limits, is like, this irritates me. As all this is going on, as he's fighting, I think it's like before she does the little. Is it before or after when she does that air statue thing and punches him? Is that does he jump on him before or after that happens?
Does she what on him? I couldn't hear you clearly.
No, her little air move there was like a visage of her that she punches Shigaraki with. Does that happen before she jumps on him or after?
After.
Okay, so like after all that, after the laser and everything, Shiraka's on his back. She jumps off of the stealth bomber onto him, and then puts a roll on him. Well, not really on him, more like only trying to put a roll on him, saying that he will die if he moves from this spot. Unfortunately, because Shigaraki doesn't know who he is right now, if he's either Shigaraki, either All for One, or Tenko, the little boy that we saw with the black hair. Early in this show. Also another thing too I found kind of weird. I don't know, this is like, I mean, I guess it was actually happening because like Starling Stripes, like they made her say that his hair got longer all of a sudden. I thought that was kind of curious. I'm not sure what that was supposed to mean. That was really weird. Like I don't know why his hair suddenly got longer there, but it did.
I didn't understand that either.
Huh?
Because I didn't understand anything about that. Like, it doesn't seem connected to his quirk or anything.
Maybe it is. Maybe just we don't know. I don't know. I mean, his hair literally turned white much early on in his life. Maybe the hair lengthening has something to do with that too.
Right. I mean, I guessed maybe that it was like Shigaraki like the Shigaraki side coming out more, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, I see. You noticed that is New Order a play on New World Order? I really don't want America to be a. Well, I mean, it's too late now, but let me just.
Doesn't it seem like that's what it is? New World Order?
Well, probably New World Order. If I'm looking this up right now, as people can see on the stream now. Uh, New World Order is a conspiracy theory, apparently, which is interesting.
Yeah, but what else would New Order mean?
I mean, I can't fight you on this. I mean, the New World Order is a term in several conspiracy theories which hypothesize a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. If I can speak English, common theme in conspiracy theories about the New World Order is that world through an authoritarian one world government. Which I guess in her theory, she kind of represents like whatever she calls out, she has complete authority over them. I guess another thing. I guess we know talk about this as well about like her quirk. We can discuss this a little bit. As like Shigaraki is like learning through his fight with her, he's learning everything about her ability and trying to understand it. Even though she calls out that if he moves from that spot, he would die. It doesn't work on him. Apparently, it seems like her quirk relies on her own self-awareness of knowing what she's looking at and what she's calling out, and also the person, if she's using on a person, the person also agreeing mentally that they're the person that she's calling out to, for the quirk to work on them. I thought it was kind of interesting because like that means like theoretically, if you don't agree with her when she's using her power, it doesn't work on you, right?
Right.
That's kind of like a crazy loophole in her ability. It kind of makes or breaks it.
She has to kind of hope that like you don't figure it out.
She also has to hope too that the person also thinks that they're a person. I guess in the broadest sense of her ability. Who know who they are, and because Shigaraki is the one person in the world that's having an identity crisis at this very moment.
Yeah, really, it would have worked on anybody else.
He's the one person in the world this won't work on, which is sad. But then again,
she misinterpreted what went wrong. So like she still thinks she can go in and try a different order, like a new order for him.
Well, no, here's the thing though. I mean, there was a time when he believed he was Tomura Shigaraki, so he's not really working on a he's not really working on a misinterpretation. It just so happens that she got here after he had his identity crisis of who he's supposed to be and whatnot. She just got unlucky like when she showed up.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for that, I'm pretty sure it would have worked on him. Because there was a point when he believed he was Tomura Shigaraki. But
she doesn't know why it didn't work on him, so she might come in for close combat again, which is really dangerous because if he touches her, she turns to dust.
Well, not really. If she can come in, because she can enact 2 orders at once. Though, granted, the first one gets more priority, but like if she were to go in with enhanced strength, it won't be as strong as All Might's, but it's still good enough. But also maybe the ability to not get decayed or whatever, maybe that could work. Because I mean, if she uses that on herself, it doesn't matter if Shigaraki recognizes or whatever. He can't like force her quirk to turn off. At least I don't think he can.
Why not?
I mean, I'm having a hard time like going either way on it because like I don't like. Has he displayed the ability to shut people's quirks off? Because he's not really all for one. He doesn't have like a billion quirks in his body. He's just got the couple that All for One gave him.
Right.
But if I was over one, I would give Shigaraki the ability too. But I don't know. Things like he hasn't displayed the ability to do that, because if he did, like, at least in my opinion, if Shigaraki would have used it already, there's some people that he probably could have used. He could have definitely used it on that would have been like beneficial towards him, to him. But I'm gonna go on the limb that he can't like force beyond her ability to, because like her quirk, if she was using, you know, the inability to be, you know, decayed or rotted on herself, it's not like she's using it on him. She's using it on herself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or would she use it on him if that was the case? This is all hypotheticals here. I know I'm working with, but this is stuff that I like. The things that make this is the lifeblood that keeps me going. Yeah, my life is sad. I'm sorry.
Your life is not.
This is the things that I like, that, you know, I think about sometimes with anime. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this show is, you know, the thoughts that go in my head. But I don't know. I don't know why he couldn't, but at the same time, I don't know why he would be able to. It's the other question I actually have. Yeah, being able to turn her quirk off. Or be able to push past it. Because it hasn't been displayed that there was a time limit to how long these orders work. Was there?
No.
I guess the only other thing too is like, okay, it showed that she can't infuse too much power into living things, so like I guess that would count as herself too. Like even if because she can only infuse herself with so much super strength, and two, like I guess the whole inability to be phased by rotting would probably only work for as long as like it'll only be able to prevent, I guess, equivalent rot maybe. So maybe Shigaraki just used his ability to decay at a higher rate. Maybe it could bypass it if she were to do that. It's kind of a stalemate because they both need to touch each other to make their abilities work. Unfortunately, yeah. Shigaraki is kind of more indiscriminate, I mean, versus hers. This is another case of like, I guess, touching quirks really being, you know, really powerful too, because you wouldn't think so with the caveat that need to touch the person. Like, but both of them have managed to work around that. The Shigaraki can, like, I guess, indiscriminately like decay from very far away. We discovered last season, and she can just touch air and cause it and command it to do what she wants it to do.
She seems to do it with air a lot so far.
It's probably the most not convenient, but like it's probably the most flexible, because it doesn't really have a form or anything. She can command it to do whatever.
Are we not going to talk about how she was naked in that full, like, that genie thing?
Genie thing? Wait, what?
You know when she made an air, like, avatar of herself?
She was nude?
It was a nude, yeah. You could see, like, her six-pack and stuff like that on it. Like, it was her, but without clothes.
I honestly did not see that. But I wasn't really staring at her image that hard, though. I don't know if this is about me or you.
It's at 25 of the episode. Can't send you a screenshot, of course. If you look at it, though, you can see her pectoral muscles and things like that. Like, it's not a clothed version of her. It doesn't have a cape or anything either. Any of the things that would signal that her clothes.
Well, I mean, at first I was concerned that her image had nipples on it, but no, it doesn't. So
no, it didn't. They didn't go that far. But if you were ever wondering what she looks like under that costume,
I don't know that. I mean, and this is gonna be really pervy of me, but I thought her boobs are bigger than that. So I don't know who.
Oh
It's
my
like
god.
they took a male body is what they did there, but then tried to shape it as best they could, and then plaster her head on top of it,
Yeah.
which is weird.
She's
Regardless,
not
but like,
wearing the copy of her is not wearing any clothes.
why is that the thing you want to point out about that though? I'm very confused.
Why nobody was talking about it, that's all.
I mean, I glossed over us. I wasn't paying attention to it. I was more impressed that she was capable of doing whatever she did there.
If
And
you'll notice too, any time that like it goes to the groin area, there's a convenient cloud covering it.
I saw that in like the Passover image video.
Yeah, like the groin area is being covered by convenient clouds at all times.
I want to actually read this thing. I guess people can see this on the stream. There's this viewer hurling a shout out, Crazy Yandere Witch. They'll probably never see this. I actually like your comment here, so I'm gonna read it. Um, I genuinely wish I knew how Kohei Horikoshi came up with quirk ideas, because some of the ideas are the coolest thing ever, and given unique limitations, some are like New Order, which seems like an overpowered quirk, and there's the poor dude who's got stuck with the Windex bottle quirk we saw during Liberation.
The Windex bottle, what?
Apparently during the Liberation battle arc, apparently there was somebody with a Windex bottle head or something. Apparently.
That's pretty funny.
I don't remember that. That's actually kind of interesting. But yeah, that's like a good question. It's like, I mean, I wonder how Kohei comes up with some of these, like, because like a lot of these abilities that are really cool, the ones that are like really like on the characters that are really cool and really powerful, they're not abilities I would have thought of. Like I can like legitimately say like Lumillion, for instance, the ability to pass through people in just anything is not something that I would have like thought of to do the way that he did it. And then the limitations that he had basically when Lumillion was learning how to use his ability, where he kept on losing his pants, stuff like that, and falling through floors and whatnot. That's a unique limitation to have, where you have to constantly be able to keep yourself solid.
Hmm.
There's some comments here apparently underneath here I want to just have a look at real quick.
Sure, go for it.
Same way kids come up with their superpowers all the time. No, little kids kind of aren't that creative. I hate to say it. Because even like Froppy, for instance, I wouldn't have, considering that she looks human most of the time, but her abilities make her kind of froggish. It's like I wouldn't have thought to do that. In fact, I wouldn't have thought about causing a person to be like a frog hero. So she's unique in a really an interesting way. Uraraka, I could almost see, but at the same time, the uniqueness with her, I really like. Even Tape Man, for instance, like that guy with the ability to have prehensile tape coming out of his elbows, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a Crazy Ender Witch again. Like, it's just like it's just that some of these quirks are so out of the blue. I absolutely love it. I'm glad that he didn't lose his imagination growing up. Yeah, again, it's like some abilities are really out of the blue. Like tape, for instance, that's out of the blue. I wouldn't have thought that's something he could get really creative with.
Did he start with he wanted to make a version of Spider-Man, though, and then came up with that?
I don't know. I know he was a fan of DC and Marvel. As for who he started, I think he said, I don't know who he started off with first. I mean, Spider-Man, it's possible. I mean, with the way he moves, you would definitely consider the inspiration of Spider-Man, for sure.
Right. That's kind of what I thought with him, is like, not that it was tape, it was just he was trying to find a way to make him Spider-Man, but without getting like sued.
I guess back to Stars and Stripes. So she's fighting Todoroki. Dang it, fighting Shigaraki. I'm mixing them up again. she's fighting Shigaraki. We can see here in the screen. She commands the air again. This time to make a I don't know why I don't know why the word effigy makes it sounds wrong to me, but I guess it's the best. Like, she makes an image of her in the air. Apparently, Shigaraki can't see this, but he can feel that it's there, which I thought was kind of interesting too. So it's like, clearly we're not supposed to see what this is, but like,
Yeah.
because it's anime, they want to show us something to make this look cool. So, but he can't see it, but he can feel it, and he pretty much feels it again after it punches him dead in dead in the stomach and sends him flying. As this is going, as she's fighting with this giant, she tells her crew that she, I guess, activates some protocol. I forgot the name of the guy she asked for. I think it's Akbar or something. I forgot his name, but they all look like the guy underneath her looks at her like, "You're crazy, and this is gonna get you into more trouble than coming out here by yourself." Apparently, she's going against orders from America, which I'm not shocked at all. Um, But like, I don't know what at first I don't know what she's calling for. We learn later on that she's calling for missiles, Tiamat missiles apparently. I guess another thing too that I find kind of cool about her quirk is that she calls her crew to use lasers, and then her giant her giant just grabs the lasers as they're, I guess, being thrown out at full power, and it just jabs it into Todoroki's stomach, only just to keep him from regenerating. I thought was kind of cool, unique, and funny. To like just think about, like, you're there and you're just getting hit full frontal with a continuous laser that seems to have no end. Like this, I always say the creativeness of the creativeness of this quirk is actually really impressive. I didn't think he'd get this creative later on in the show, but like apparently he can get as creative as he wants to. But But yeah, I guess she's doing this. Like then, like the reinforcements come in with the missiles. Her commander is like they like her willingness to do anything, even though it's causing them problems. Kind of. Apparently, he's gonna give her a freebie. Apparently, it's what it caused her to lose her license. Apparently, but was interesting too. That like she must be really hard to control over there in the United States.
Mm.
But certainly they call them the
That was
missiles, and then that's where the episode ends. The missiles coming in. What?
almost kind of a trope, though, wasn't it? Like
Hmm?
that was almost kind of a trope when they come in and they say that you're not just going to lose your license this time. I'm pretty sure that is a Top Gun reference. I can't be absolutely positive, but I'm like 99% sure that's a Top Gun reference. When he says that to her.
I guess. I mean, it's clear that like some of the stuff from over here influenced him. I guess another thing too, I guess now we're at the end of the episode, which I also want to point out before I move on here. As we saw this coming in, my brain was just like, this better not end. This better not end right here. This better not end right here, and then it ends right there. Like it always seems to happen to me like that. Like another cliffhanger. But
Do we have 4 episodes of this live, like ahead of us? That screenshot I sent you with 4 episode thumbnails, like was that?
no, that's something else. That's just like I mentioned to you before that they were gonna like, apparently I thought the first episode was gonna be this, but apparently they're using they made like a memories thing for if you wanted to go through everything that happened up to this point. You can watch it in quick succession, I guess. Like you don't have to like go through the entirety of all the episodes to get caught up. You can just watch those to get caught up on the important bits.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was. As if you want to go and remind yourself of everything that happened up to this point. Which they didn't need to do. That was a lot of work, which is probably what pushed them.
One of these will come out every week, basically. Then,
As far as I know, a new episode will come out every week. I can check that out right now for you.
no, that's okay. I believe it.
I'm already doing it, so. Okay, when is May 11th? Yep, there's an episode coming out, at least there's another episode coming out next week, so I think they're doing this weekly.
Cool.
All I have right now is Spectre. Is the name of that they have right now on Wikipedia. This will more likely change because they don't have a title yet, but I guess Spectre must be referring to that that giant you know, statue of her. Well, not statue, but like I guess effigy is the best way to put it. Giant effigy of her that we can see that you pointed out was nude. This was referring to. I was gonna say, I had something to say, and it had something to do with Koei, but I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, that's right. Apparently he was asked why All Might wasn't from America. And it sounds like at first maybe it would have happened, but according to him, he says he doesn't think All Might would have had the same effect that he has had if he had been from America. I think it's like stance of why he wasn't from, you know, why he wasn't from the West.
Right. It's probably because of the design of his costume. It looks very like American. It almost looks like a Stars and Stripes kind of costume.
I think he also that's kind of like he was supposed to be, which is obvious. I think you called this out. I'm not sure when you called it out. He was kind of a reference to Superman. I think he wanted to make Superman from Japan.
Yeah.
I will say, I want to say like I guess I'm glad that we have West superhero in the anime. It really kind of like makes the world feel cohesive. But I will say that I don't think we needed her to be for real. And this is just like not even bringing another character. I don't think we really truly, because maybe well, maybe not. Because then we just had to make another hero. So maybe it was mandatory that we needed somebody from another country. So then I retract that statement. I retract that statement entirely. Well, I was gonna say I don't think we needed a hero from another country to show up, but I was like maybe we did. Because I mean, one of the things to say that she is a top hero from the West, at least in in America, she's a top hero there. And we already lost our top hero in Japan, so it will make sense. And
well, not the top hero. It's just every time the top hero goes, it's just another top hero to take their place. Endeavor's the top hero now.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, what I'm saying was like a top hero with the same power as all. What?
I understand what you're saying because Endeavor barely counts as a hero, but
that's not what I'm saying. Don't you twist my words, sir. Don't you dare twist my words. What I was trying to get at is like a hero like on par with All Might. Like, I mean, she's not as powerful as he is, but like she has the same like effect, I would believe, that All Might does for Japan. She has the same effect for America as like as All Might has for Japan.
She keeps a smile. She's got blonde hair to look like All Might's blonde hair. She even makes a comment about her hair like looking like his. Yeah.
But basically, she's an American All Might. Is basically what she is.
Right.
I also find it weird that she considers All Might her master, even though it doesn't seem like. I could be completely wrong, but I got the impression that she didn't train under All Might, but she just calls him master. Like, am I wrong?
I wondered about that too.
Oh, so I wasn't the only one. Okay. I thought maybe I missed something that she got trained by him, but I guess okay.
No, I think she probably, excuse me. I think she probably didn't have training with All Might because they've gone over his student. You know what I mean? Like it made a big deal about the one that was his student, and we've never heard about this character, even though we've seen a lot of All Might's past.
Yes, true. And Crunchyroll say we've had enough of that. I wish you could have seen it. There was an image of that giant statue, and then it flips over to just a cloned version of her. I didn't even do that. It just happened. I think that was Crunchyroll saying, okay, we had enough of that. But, yeah, with that, that's the first episode of My Hero Academia. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what they're gonna come out next, what's next episode's gonna be about.
I'm glad
Obviously it's
it
gonna be a
wasn't just a
continuation of this
recap.
fight. But
I'm glad it wasn't just a recap filler kind of episode.
yeah, I half expected that. And I was kind of prepared to come in with some like really random like topic when I watched the episode and realized it was filler. And I was like, okay, well, they come up with something. But like I'm glad it wasn't, and yeah, new content to talk about.
Yeah.
I swear, like, she really reminds me of like Captain America. And maybe that's the point.
I could see that a little bit, but Captain America doesn't have powers.
That technically he does have powers.
He's a super soldier, so he has enhanced strength and speed.
Aren't those
But
powers?
I guess that's powers. Yeah, he has enhanced strength and speed and probably durability. But it's not powers like she has powers or All Might has powers.
Okay, I will. Okay, I will like. I'll agree with that. I just thought like, I consider like see enhanced to the peak of physical perfection, but a super. Okay. Okay. Huh. Based on the way that they were listing it here, he's kind of like Batman. Because I
Oh,
never considered him Batman before, but now I'm actually, jeez.
I never thought about that. People usually compare Iron Man to Batman.
Well, that's the weird thing. Is because I'm looking here, and I'm like looking at what they're listing. Like he's essentially Batman, just like if Batman was injected with a steroid. Is basically what this is. What this is. But then we get to Iron Man.
You saying you don't understand why he's compared to Iron Man?
No, that's not that. It's just when we get to. I understand why he's compared to Iron Man, but what I'm saying is like when I look at Captain America thoroughly, I honestly sit there and say I missed the Batman comparison with him, but you know, the main reason why I think he's compared to Iron Man's compared to Batman is because they both have money that give them their abilities.
And they're brilliant, and they enhance themselves with their money, like to make toys and mechanical equipment that helps them and stuff like that. They, but it's not a perfect equivalent.
I've always compared him. I always compared Iron Man to Batman, but now I looked at Captain America like I think Captain America might be a better comparison. if like the only thing Captain America lacks is the financial funding.
Yeah. Iron Man has a dark side to him though. He struggles with alcoholism and things like that.
I thought Bruce had,
and he struggles to maintain his life, his normal life. You know what I mean? Between balancing his normal life and his superhero life. Iron Man has like a little bit of like that, where Captain America doesn't really have a dark side.
and I always wondered what they were doing with Iron Man in those movies, but now you said that apparently he's had a struggle with alcoholism. That kind of makes a lot of what happened to him in those movies make sense.
Yeah.
I always wondered what were they doing to him there? Like, I was watching, I was like, why does it seem like he's going down a hole that he doesn't seem to be coming out of? But okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
And I will say about this Batman thing, but like, well, apparently at some point this was rectified. Like, I remember saying that Batman had pretty much had been in bed with almost every woman in like at least within his universe. I said for Harley Quinn, apparently at some point that changed. I think it was most recent. I think he was in bed with her. I can't find any representation that he was ever in bed with Poison Ivy. but like I didn't really look that far into it, so I'm just gonna like drop that whole bit there.
You really want to have that rash?
No, ow. Okay, with that, guys, we're gonna end it here. uh, Thank you guys for stopping by, and we'll be back next week, as we always are, with another episode of the show that started all. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Take care, folks.